This is the 2019 Ford Mustang. You can't get a really good idea of that beautiful colour until it's in the sun. There are some genuine fake bonnet vents, the forged alloy wheels, and fully automatic LED headlights. And most importantly, it's got autonomous emergency braking. That's Ford's attempt to improve its 2-star safety rating, but it still only managed to make 3. It's got Magna-Ride, so that's an optional extra. I'll put a full list of the extras at the end. There's also a full review and link in the comments below. But of course, the big Brumby's best feature is the fact that the roof goes down and up. Unlike many other cars that have a drop-top roof, Mustang doesn't have a cover over the back. This bit here is actually the outside of the top of the roof. That's not normally a problem, but it does leave all of the workings exposed down here. Ford's answer to that is this. You have to take this out and put it over the top of the gap yourself. Why would you bother? People don't, and it just stays in the boot. And there's another problem too. Right around the back, there's a rim. Water's just going to drain straight down and catch in that rim. There's a seal under it, and underneath that is the car. I just think that's a daft idea. I can see that going wrong. You use this handle to lock and unlock the roof, and then you press this button to make it go up and down. But the window switches themselves have just that one for the 2 back windows and 2 window controls for the front. Although the tops of the doors feels nice and soft, as does the door cards themselves, the surrounds around the switches feel a little bit strange. And I'm not sure that it looks all that brilliant. It comes with Sync 3, which of course has Apple CarPlay. Down below, the radio and audio controls. And below that, the fully automatic air conditioning controls. Please note, the seats are both heated and cooled. Down below that are the drive mode switches, steering mode switches, ESC off, let's leave that one alone, hazard flashes, and the stop and start button. Below that is a little tray for your phone and a kind of cool gear sticks. Now here is the cup holders. Please note, it's at a stupid height. That's right where my arm would go. And you can't miss that it's a Mustang. Here's the boss on the center wheel that I was telling you about that I think looks a little bit tacky because it's just so completely flat. Steering wheel buttons, very clearly laid out. This is really standard Ford fare. Down here are the controls for the cruise control and the distance setting from the car in front. Over here you can go directly to access settings, navigation, music, etc. Then of course there's Ford's instrument cluster. Now how hard is that to see? Let me start the car. In the sun, it reflects off this little piece here, and you almost can't see that at all. And the dashboard changes with modes. As you select the different modes, the dashboard changes. In the middle are your trip figures. Now you can see that we're doing 13.6 litres per 100 kilometres. That's over 5,800 kilometres, but have a look at this. 16.7 litres per 100 kilometres on 94.5. It is in sports mode as we speak, and what sports mode does is it makes the whole chassis alive and bristling and makes the engine nastier and meaner. Jesus, Mary Joseph. But it does make the ride a little bit firm. And no fanging it. It sounds brilliant. With the windows up, most of the breeze is kept outside. And what that means is that you can have the air conditioning on with most of that breeze inside. The 10-speed automatic is kicking down. It's just kicked down from 7th to 4th. And you can feel the steering giving feedback. Oh, wow. Oh, it's just extraordinary. I am going to turn on my seat cooling. Mustang's story began in 1966, and those models are still considered to be the classics. But the truth is, the new cars just drive better, and unless you want a car that's hideously unreliable, that doesn't go when you want it to go, that doesn't go around corners, they sound good and they look very pretty, but they're not very nice to drive. This, on the other hand, the 2019 version, is sublime. As I said, in normal mode it was a little bit floaty, a little bit how's your father, but you put it into any of the other modes and it turns from a boulevard cruiser with a heart of coal into a fire-breathing monster with a heart of gunpowder. What could be more brilliant than driving through Sydney's Royal National Park on Grand Pacific Drive, through these beautiful ancient rainforests, on this lovely windy twisty road with the cicadas in the background. There's no kidding yourself that it feels like the McLaren that we drove a few weeks ago. But of course the McLaren was $330,000. This is around $80,000 with all its extras and inclusions. The Magna ride is an extra. This magenta paint is an extra. And it's a special order. It isn't even on Ford's website. Oh, look at this 45-degree. Oh, look at that. That's just brilliant. It went around there like it was on rails. The wheels on this car, they're an optional extra as well. And they've got a slightly retro look to them, which I just adore. This corner we're coming up to is 15 kilometers an hour. And we dispatched it at 40 kilometers an hour, no problem, because remember that's just an advisory sign. Got myself a coffee because I really needed to pick me up. Okay. Highlights the issue of the cup holders are just not quite deep enough, or the tunnel is not quite low enough or something. Let's roll. Now you may have noticed that I've put the roof up, and I've done that because I wanted to demonstrate how much quieter it is with the roof up, but it is acoustically dampened, and actually the pitter-patter of rain on canvas is really nice. When you put it in the sports modes, the gear changes are brutal. When you're not in sports mode, the gear changes are actually incredibly smooth. So you spend a lot of your time in 60 and 70 kilometre an hour traffic in 9th, sometimes even in 10th. And that's how they've managed to keep their consumption figures so low. You know, ours is still not all that low. Now that we're on the highway, you can Hear how quiet this thing is. Even with those really big wheels, really low profile tyres, and a monster of an engine underneath, it's really quiet. I've always been a Mustang fan, even the old ones, because they were Mustangs. It makes you feel a certain way when you drive down the road. You feel proud, you put your chest out. This is Australia's best-selling sports car. Mustang sells more than all the other cars in its class combined. It's also the world's best-selling sports car. It's got almost no competition. There are very few V8s around, period, let alone under $100,000. And although in Australia at least that's still quite expensive, relatively speaking, it's still good value for money. Now that we're back in comfort mode again, the car's just wafting along happily. I've got my air conditioning on. I've got my seat cooling on. It's not that hot outside, but why not? It's there. One more quick word before I go. Most soft top cars, you can open and close the roof while the car is moving, up to, in some cases, 30 or 40 kilometers an hour. In Mustang, I tried that and it wouldn't move until I was completely standing still. Well, there we have it. Ford's 2019 Mustang Convertible. It's a beast. It's a beast, I tell you. Some people have been critical of its handling, and look, I get it. American cars will always handle like American cars, but you either like it or you don't. Personally, I like it. I'm going to rate Mustang at 8 out of 10, not because it's good or bad, but because it makes you feel a certain way when you drive it, and not many cars can actually make that claim to fame. Just look at it, it is absolutely beautiful. As always, hit the circle just there, right there, to subscribe, and leave some comments in the space below.